dudes, as we prepare for another episode of DC Graduates. I am one of your teachers, your doctor recommended dose of nerdiness, aka your nerd today, Carlos Rodriguez. And as always, I'm, you know, joined with my teacher in crime over here, Sly. Sly, how are you today?
I'm doing excellent. It's, bright and early for me as somebody who works nights for this lovely recording. But, we got to make it special because we brought in an expert lecturer to join us for this recording. Welcome to my co host and partner in crime for our Served Up Sunday show, JJ. How's it going?
Yay.
Hello! Wow, what a great introduction. Hi, I'm JJ, also known as JJ B-Way Watch. Guest lecturer. That's a good important title. I
You
feel
got to add that to the bio.
fancy. My goal has been reached.
Welcome.
That's
Yeah,
great.
welcome to DC Graduates. We're so happy
Yeah.
to have you here.
Feels
Hey,
good
you're a
to be
second guest.
second guest.
Oh, yeah,
Dang it,
that's
I missed it
right.
by one. Ugh,
Well, Mario had to be obviously our first guest,
of course it is.
Because he's the
former
producer.
former professor to me, now, teacher in arms. So,
Yes. So today we are talking about 2013 Superman Unbound. Uh, we'll start with JJ. What's your history with this movie?
My history with this movie is I think I watched it for the first time when I was in college. Um, And then I watched it for the second time, never revisited it until Sly approached me a few months ago about doing this project. And I was like, oh, I should probably put that up again. And then my final time watching this was this morning, before a couple hours before this. So I've seen it a
lovely.
couple times at this point, but I do remember the first time I watched this was in college when I was both going through a Superman phase. And also, I think the second Magic Mike had come out, so I was going through a Matt Bomber phase. Bomber
Yes,
phase.
as you should.
And I think those things kind of overlapped at one point.
Love
Um,
that.
so yeah, no, definitely, a lot of things were happening in the world, JJ's mind, in terms of Superman and
I do have a
sexual
question for
crisis.
you. I love a sexual crisis. Why did you pick this of all the Superman films when I gave you the list? Why was this the one you claimed?
Oh, obviously for one very specific reason, and that is one Kara Zor-El. Because as much as
Hell
I
yeah.
have a history with Superman, and I have a very long history with the character of Superman, which, as I was thinking about it for this, is much longer than I thought. The more emotionally resonant history that I have, and the more like prevalent in my life currently, is with Supergirl. Um, and I think this is one of the movies that has a better take on Supergirl than I think a lot of other ones do. I think that there are some issues
Mhm.
with it, but this one poses some of the stronger and more important questions about Supergirl than a lot of other depictions of her. And so I very much was like, ah, yes, I do remember this from this movie, even though I watched it forever ago. There are certain lines from Supergirl that have stuck with me since then. And
Mhm.
yeah, I had to go with Superman Unbound for that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Sly, what about you? What's your host history with this?
Never seen this before. And I knew that this time going into it, okay?
Not like last week.
It's not like last week where I was really convinced that I had seen the movie before and then got really confused when it was all new information. This was one I knew had slipped through the cracks when I was like really going through my like DC animated movie phase. It did lean towards a certain family, as you can tell by the everything about me. So some of the Superman specifically ones definitely slipped through the cracks. I am, however, a huge fan of one Kara Zor-El, so it was delightful to see her again this week. After getting kind of an introduction to her last week, getting a little bit more of a fleshed out, stronger character this week was really fun.
Yeah, absolutely. This is my first time watching it funny enough too, and
Oh,
I have a
really?
Superman tattoo. You know,
Gonna say.
it's bad. I have no excuse. But yeah, I remember this is one that slipped through the cracks as well. I was also really intrigued in watching this back in the day. I just never got around to it because of Matt Bomber, and his history behind being Superman, which we'll touch upon soon. But I never got a chance to watch it until this morning, and it's a damn fun movie. I can tell you that. We'll get
I did
more into it.
homework last night. Why am I the one doing my homework ahead of time of all of us on this call?
I had a Christmas decorating stuff. All
All
right,
right, fair
all right.
enough.
I got a Christmas tree up. All right.
Usually I watch it like giving me stuff like maybe 30 minutes before the recording. I sit and watch
That's
through
very
it.
true. I woke up this morning and I looked at the notes. It's like, oh shit, slides are already in there. Fuck it.
Right. That never happens.
All right, but continuing on with history class. This film is directed by James Tucker, written by Bob Goodman. Studio is always WB Animation. Stars, as we mentioned before, Matt Bomber, Stanya Katic, John Noble, Molly C. Quinn, Diedrich Baker, Wade Williams. I wanted to say Wade Wilson so bad. I just saw this too. I was like, Wade Wilson. I'm like, yo, can you imagine the Deadpool in the background?
That'd be
Honestly,
great.
yes, I could see that in
Oh.
I
this movie.
could,
I think there's a very clear track for Wade Wilson in this
You
movie.
could you put him in anything, DC or Marvel. Just have him in the background, and it's hilarious every time.
I think he'd have a
Mhm.
great time with Steve.
Oh my god, him and Steve Lombard, man, would be besties by the end of it somehow,
Uh,
and Steve would be gay by the end of it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
He would realize stuff about himself that he never thought.
Watching Wade
And
gently
as always,
turn him down,
Andrea
not so
Romano's
gently.
here, lending her voice talents. This is actually streaming on Max. It's like
Who
the
would have
second time.
thought? It's
In 2
shocking.
seasons. It's like, who would have thought? Who would have figured this would be on finally?
Yeah,
God,
we
not
have a
me.
couple more coming up. Thank God, because you know.
Well,
some
once we
of
get the
them
more
we've been
modern stuff, yeah.
scouring.
Yeah. But this is our section where we like to say, fuck Dave Zasloff.
Mhm.
Unless you want to give me
Amen.
tickets to AEW, I'll gladly take them. And we're friends again. Well, maybe not. You can still go fuck yourself. All right. You know what? Typically we have Sly do the plot recap. But since we have a
However,
guest, JJ, can you do the plot recap for us?
Oh yes, sure.
you got
Wait,
this.
who is this plot recap from? A synopsis.
It was okay. Here, okay, I'll give a summary behind the plot recap. I pulled a plot recap. Usually I go to IMDb, and when you go onto IMDb, there's usually a like 2 sentence plot like summary, right? And then somebody will usually fill in like a quick recap of what happens in the movie. However, whoever did it this time didn't know the difference between a synopsis and a summary, and they put a synopsis in the plot summary section, which is not how that works. But in the plot synopsis section, there was a recap. So I pulled that. We don't know who wrote it. It feels like generic copy. It feels like it came from the studio. But still, take it away.
All right, plot recap. An unstoppable android on the horizon, a mysterious fireball hurtling toward Earth. A fearless and beautiful reporter will stop at nothing to get her story. It's just another day for the heroic man of steel, only this time, for better or for worse, he has his unpredictable cousin by his side. The gritty adventure begins as Superman learns about the ruthless force known as
We're assuming it's
Brainiac,
Brainiac.
who has seized and miniaturized Krypton's capital city of Kandor. Determined to liberate the captured metropolis and protect his home planet from Brainiac's increasing power, Superman takes on his most menacing enemy yet in its DC animated original movie, based on the gripping comic book miniseries.
Good one. Good.
Also include comic characters. Should I just go to the comic characters?
Yeah,
Or
go for it.
All
characters.
right. Clark, Lois, Brainiac. I'm gonna say Kara.
Yeah, me too.
Ma, Jimmy, Perry. Basically all the Soups people. I don't know.
Usually Carlos fills that out, but it was blank when I went to fill it out. So
Honestly,
you got my
got
comic
everyone.
character.
Yeah. You missed Steve Lombard. That's
Yeah,
it.
Steve
Oh,
Lombard.
okay. Sorry,
That's it.
Steve.
And
No one gives a
imaginary
shit
Wade
about Steve.
Wilson. I mean, how could you not know that
Jerry
Jerry
Wilson.
Wilson
There
was
you
in
go.
this movie?
Yeah.
I don't know how you missed that slide. There was just a lot happening in the background.
Yeah.
I know.
I
God, how
completely
dare you?
skipped over that, you know? My bad.
All right. So typically we're gonna move into the Andrea Romano roundup, but we shout out our queen, voice director extraordinaire, Andrea Romano, who has a role in this. There's quite a few lines in this actually. Um, so we have three things we want to touch upon. JJ, as our guest, where do you want to start?
Oh, I think we should talk about the live action casting and
All right.
Matt Palmer.
Yeah,
I think we need to
been
start there. I think that is the most important thing to get out of the way.
I've been waiting. I can't wait.
All
All
right.
right.
You two can take this one.
Yeah. So, there was a little film called Superman Flyby a few years back. It would have been horrible. Let's be honest. I read the script.
We don't talk about what the script actually was, though. We
No, we don't need the
ignore
kung
what that
fu
script was.
Kryptons, the Prince of Krypton. None of that. The
Oh,
suit looks
Lord.
cool.
Suit looked great. Suit looked
Yes.
great.
Yes. But it would have been, what was it? McG would have been directed. J.J. Abrams was writing it.
Which is problem number
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. Yeah. As much as I love JJ for the other stuff,
I love J.J. Abrams.
but not
No.
Superman.
Not
No,
Superman.
not his take. Not this take.
Not
then I
this
think
era of J.J. Abrams.
No, not this era. No,
Not this
no.
era.
I need Star Trek, J.J. Abrams. Like that'd have been maybe okay. Maybe okay. I think I told Slide this before. At this time there was rumors of Robert Downey Jr. being Lex Luthor. That was gonna be one of the
Fascinating.
casting.
Fascinating.
Yes. I think he would have killed it. I think he would have been good. It's just like given the material that you have in that movie. I don't know.
Yeah.
But this is right before Superman Returns. This is what like their second tape of trying to get Superman back out in the public. They were going to do a George Miller Justice League movie, which I think no, I was going to say Armie Hammer was going to play Superman, but he wasn't. I think he was Batman.
Yeah, I think that sounds right.
Yeah, and thank God we didn't even get that.
I can't imagine the world. That timeline of Armie Hammer Batman. Cannot imagine that timeline.
No, God, because all the jokes we would get about Batman eating flesh, not funny. But the movie came down to a couple castings at the end here. So we had Brendan Routh was in the running. Henry Cavill, actually, there's photos of him wearing the flyby suit. Yeah, and Matt Palmer, which at the time I think he was like a relatively unknown, like to the mass media.
Yeah, he hadn't done he'd only done a couple of things at this point. I mean, his biggest thing that he's been known for, of course, is White Collar, and that's post.
Yeah,
like right after this time period.
Absolutely, and this is like that's what they were looking for Superman at the time. That's what the call sheets were saying. Like we need somebody unknown, similar to what we got with Christopher Reeve. Which they eventually, when they did Superman Returns, that's what they got with Brandon Routh. Relatively unknown, like he was perfect. He was good for that. But Matt Bomer, I want to say I have the article here. Let's see what this says. This most recently in 2024, but he said he lost out the role because of being openly gay. Which, first of all, fuck Warner Brothers. Fuck you.
Amen to that.
Because when you see his acting, right? If you've seen White Collar, really good comedic timing. There's a wholesomeness to him. That jawline, those eyes.
Bite it. I want to bite his jaw. I want to.
And then you watch Magic Mike. That motherfucker has an 18-pack. And then there's more under that. I could assume, shout out to his husband.
Absolutely. Oh no, we've seen it. It exists. You can find it online. It's not that hard to find. It's good on his husband.
Yeah. Well, everyone out there search, incognito. But yeah, he said he lost it because of his sexuality.
I watched the movie. Okay, it's not like it was. I was going searching.
It's there.
It's there.
Yeah, fair. That's very fair. But yeah, he lost the movie because of that. And mind you, this was my first time watching this movie. But knowing that travesty, it made me really angry. Like it was like, why does it matter? Like we have a British guy playing Superman, and Henry Cavill, and he did a pretty good job with what he was given.
Mhm.
Okay, good.
What?
I needed that thing at the end of what he was given because it was like, wait,
It's what he was given. Yeah,
what he
he
was
wasn't
given
given
was a
much.
great job. He wasn't given much. What he was given, he did a great job with.
He did what
Clap.
he could with that
He
role.
did what
As
he
much as
could.
he did.
Amen.
Same thing with Ben Affleck.
Also,
I think he's okay. He's just
Amen. Yes.
yeah. He
I
had Zack
I'm a,
Snyder.
yeah.
You know.
Everyone in that movie did as much as they could with what was written,
Mhm.
except Gal Gadot.
Yeah. Fair. Fair. Very fair. Very fair. But knowing that, it's just so frustrating because like Superman's supposed to be this person that you look to, and he's this inspiring figure, like this. Blue Beetle says it best in the Countdown to Infinite Crisis. Um, when you see Superman, you're supposed to have this like feeling of inequality, like you feel less than, but at the same time, you can do anything in the universe because he's so inspiring. Like just because he's Superman, you feel like, oh shit, this is Superman. I'm just a guy. But
mhm,
at the same time, he opens his mouth and starts talking. He's like, I can do whatever. I can run through a fucking brick wall right now. He's so
mhm.
inspiring. And I think Matt would have brought that and that like down home style, being raised like he looks just like a farm boy almost, like he has that Clark look. And then you watch this
Oh,
movie and it's fucking egregious that he wasn't Superman because he's so fucking good. Are you
yeah.
kidding me?
He's so. See, I don't necessarily know if I agree about the farm boy look to him because to
Oh,
me
fair.
he looks so delicately pretty. Matt Bomber
Mm,
to me is like his face is so delicate. Um, I do still think he'd make a great Clark though, and a great Superman because he's so brilliantly and effortlessly charming, but not
Mhm.
sleazy. Like he can
yes.
be
Yeah.
sleazily charming, but he can be so effortlessly warmthily and like charming in a way of connection of like wanting to connect with another person like that, which is so Clark and so Superman of like taking the time and with someone or with the person he's rescuing or like with little kids or something like that. Matt could have brought that so well. And even in this movie, where he doesn't really interact with the public at all in this movie,
No.
still has
He
this like
fucks off to outer space for
he
like a
literally
week.
So
goes to
quick.
outer space. You can still feel the fact that like this is someone who like genuinely cares about the connections he has with other people, even if he doesn't go about it the right way. Um, and yeah, he is so good in this movie.
Yeah, he shows like a really good, like a lot of vulnerability, right? Because when you have him interacting with like Lois, he shows like he's not perfect, right? He should be open about his relationship, which we'll talk about soon. He, he's doing very human things, as Lois likes to point out constantly. That when he's interacting with Kara, he shows like true like anger toward her. Like, yo, what are you doing? Like, you're messing up. You're just flying in doing all willy nilly. You got to chill. And then when she shows her fear toward Brainiac, he immediately grabs her,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and he gets hit with the heat wave. He's just like, no, no, it's okay. I got you. No problem. And that's one of the most beautiful moments of this movie, just him holding her and to be like, I got you. Everything's going to be okay. We'll figure this out together. And his voice at that moment, it's Superman, right? He's even being Superman to his cousin, who she's older than him. She's Superman to him somehow,
Yeah.
Like she's like, wait, what the fuck? Why do I feel calm now? But he
He's
has this
so
vulnerability to him and this very human nature to him, which we talk about a lot, with Clark and being raised on the farm and mom and pop Kent. And it really shows through in here. And he he just eats this role up. And like, could you imagine if this movie was live action and expanded upon? Like, it would have been perfect. It would have been amazing.
it's really interesting. There's like a run of actors that are normally in front of camera actors that have wanted to play certain superheroes that have lost that chance or never got that chance and they have found their way to voice acting. And some of them very, very much succeed. And then some of them you realize why they're not a voice actor. Um, and some of them also are great voice actors, but still don't fit necessarily. Sly and I have talked about Jensen Ackles which y'all will watch
Ooh,
later, I think, down the line,
very soon.
very, very soon. But he very much has always wanted to play Batman, and he eventually does get the chance to play Batman, but he also plays another member of the Bat family
Yes.
at an earlier point, and he kills the earlier character.
So
I
well.
won't spoil what that is, but he absolutely devours that performance. But when you get to his Batman is a little lackluster, which is strange because a lot of people would see him as a Batman actor in live action. But when you put him in a booth and you can have him physically be whatever you need him to be, and it's just a voice, he really is another character.
Mhm.
But this is Matt Bomer, who could legitimately was in line to play this character, should have played this character in a different timeline, and really is able to also bring that to a voice acting role, which I think is just goes to show like how well he gets this character. Um,
Yeah.
which is also very interesting because I think it's the only time he plays this character.
Mhm.
He later goes on to play, is it Billy or Wally? Or he plays a version of the Flash. Uh,
I believe you're right.
I think
Yeah, I believe you're
and
right.
he plays for the Flash a couple of times. Uh, but he only ever plays Superman once, which I think is really interesting. But there's other actors like that too who have wanted to be or could have played in live action a certain character and have gone to animation with varying degrees of success. And I think this is one of those ones where it's like this was successful, even though it didn't continue. This was successful and showed something about it. It was kind of like a middle finger to the people who didn't cast him because he was openly gay.
Yeah.
Plays
Yeah.
Barry in the Tomorrowverse.
Yeah, he's buried there. And he's the negative man in was it what's the name of the show? Jesus. Doom Patrol. It's on Max.
Yes, he is.
So yeah, he's
That's
negative
awesome.
man in that. So yeah, these are quite a DC credits, but like shout out to Andrea Romano because she's the cast director here, right?
Yeah.
She's the one who did it. And that is that middle finger, right? And then we have on the other end, right, our most iconic Batman is Kevin Conroy, who I didn't know he was openly gay until right before he passed away. And he had that beautiful thing in the Batman Annual, where he wrote a story about like playing Batman helped him, understand being gay and openly gay in Hollywood and stuff like that. Um, so Andrea like just knows talent, right? She could see talent. Kevin could have played a great live action Batman. He gets a chance, in the Crisis verse, when we get that one episode. Like, of course, he's elderly, but he gets to play like a Kingdom Come version of that. Gets to play around a little bit, but you can tell Andrea's like, yeah, you have talent. You didn't get to do it, so fuck them. Let's do it now. Let you live your role. Like, I'm sorry you couldn't be the live action Superman. Honestly, for his sake, probably better because of flyby.
Yes.
But I think he would have done a really well, really good job in that role. I can imagine like that trilogy if it played out the way it was supposed to. At the end of it, then we'd be like, wow, we got a really good Lex and a really good Clark. It's a shame. It's a goddamn shame. I wanted to air my grievances on this because this is something I wanted to touch upon for a while, and I saw that this was on the list. I was like, "Oh, we're talking about Matt Bomber. He should have been Superman."
I'll talk about him all the time. I mean, that's a gay icon and very pretty to look at.
God, he's so good looking.
So
As an 85% straight man, he's a good looking dude.
Every time you say that, the percentage gets a little smaller. I hate to say it.
I'm getting worried. I think this podcast is opening ideas to me.
Hey,
I'm starting to understand things about myself.
We love you and support you through this journey.
That's what this is. I'm at the end of it. It's like, hey guys, I don't think I'm straight.
Well, it would be the first time a DC hero has done that to someone.
Correct.
It's a lot of times it's Superman.
Speaking of that, I'll bring it in my own sexual crisis if we want to move on to another section, which was specifically Kara Zor-El,
yes,
and versus Clark, specifically in Smallville when I had Clark Kent and then Kara Zor-El showed up played by, oh my gosh, what is her name?
Molly Quinn.
No, Molly Quinn plays it in
Oh, in this movie. Oh, you talking about
in
Smallville?
Smallville. Yeah, in
Laura
Smallville.
Vandervoot.
Yes, Laura. Oh my gosh.
Vandervoot.
Yes, Edward. When the two of them are on screen together, that was when I realized that I was bisexual. I was like, well,
Love that for you.
there's not anything you can really say when you see the two of them on screen together. It's like,
You're
yeah,
like, wait a minute. Hold on.
well, it's been Clark for a while, and then you see her, and you're like, well, it's also yeah. Um, but speaking of Kara versus Clark, they are have two very different responses to a very cataclysmic event that they share together. Um,
Yeah. It's really interesting to see how much this movie really explores the difference in their perception on the world, you know. Both of them surviving the death of their planet, and Clark ends up on Earth as a baby, is raised by an incredible family, and is in most ways human. Like, that's his first response to things, the way he logically thinks through things, his care and compassion, like that's always going to come first for him. And Kara being much older when she leaves, and then getting stuck for so long, coming to Earth is still, like she says in the movie, it happened like a week ago for her or whatever. And it's still very fresh in her mind, this loss of everything she knew and loved, and her family and her culture, and how she's trying to assimilate into the world. And Clark doesn't really realize what it's like to come to Earth with this history. Like, he can remember little details, but when he thinks of like Earth, he thinks of home. Like, this is his home, this is his people, his family, his culture is here. And having this connection to his past is great, but she grew up in such a different way that the way she perceives the world, and the way she interacts with the people of Earth, and the way she responds to threats like Brainiac is very different. And it's really cool to have those so easily juxtaposed in this movie.
No, I agree. When watching the movie, when you think about like the diaspora, right? We talk about
Hmm.
a lot in a lot of minority communities and stuff, and then me being Puerto Rican, like there's a lot of us who were born here in America, and obviously we're all Americans. Like that's the whole thing. Jones Act, fuck you, America.
Hmm.
Uh,
Well,
but
Amen.
you know, being born here in Philly, there's a disconnect, right? You know, we're trying to
mhm,
assimilate. My two moms will always like, hey, speak English, speak English, speak English. Try to speak proper. All this other stuff. Like assimilate yourself. Like show that you're a good person. All this stuff like that. So I can see Clark having that like way how he grows up, in Kansas, and then
mhm,
have Kara just being like, we have a whole culture, we have like ways. Clark eventually tries like Kryptonian food, and he's like,
mhm,
it's a beautiful moment because he's like, oh my god, is this what it tastes like? Like, it's a home cooked meal, and getting a little touch of Krypton to be there.
mhm,
Like he knows the language. He sees the language. He can read it. He can interact with like its technology and stuff. But I think he feels that disconnect, right? Where
mhm.
Kara feels the disconnect from the other end, right? Like she's Kryptonian. She is from Krypton. She is born bred Kryptonese, I guess you want to say. And then is in this other world and it's like, well, now I have to learn how to what's appropriate, what's not appropriate.
Mhm.
There's a quick thing that happens in this movie too. When Clark fucks off to space for Brainiac, Kara like handles everything in the world
Yeah.
and like very proactive way.
Like
Yeah.
globally, like
Yeah.
proactive, like world defender in
Like
a
it
way
seems like
that we don't
Clark's like, hey,
often
I'll wait.
see in Clark.
If something
Yeah.
bad happens, I got it. She's like, I will watch you as you cross over to South Korea and it will stop anyone that comes near you. I don't give a fuck.
Mhm.
I don't work for governments.
Right.
Clark's like,
There's
there's a delicate
also
balance. Car's like, fuck that. There's bullies.
mhm. There's a really great line, and we'll get it to it in drama class, but it really illustrated that, where he's talking about an Earth thing, and he says, "Do your homework," and she responds, "You do yours." Like, you don't know anything about like our culture and our history in the way I do. Like, learn about your people and your culture in a way that was like that line just hit me in the gut.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It
that's the
spoke to the diaspora. That
Mhm.
battle that a lot of people have within, like, I can only speak to my lens, but like, there's so many people back in the mainland. There's like, hey, you're not Puerto Rican. You don't live here. You didn't grow up here. Your Spanish sucks. I'm like, I'm
Mhm.
trying. I was told not to. You gotta give me like the benefit of the doubt here. Like, doesn't make me less Puerto Rican because I'm not from there. Like, I wasn't born there, but like it's in my blood. So why should it matter? And like, instead of butting heads, we got to like come together.
Mhm.
Figure out like a middle ground. Like, hey, yeah, you guys got fucked over too. Let's figure something out here. We're in this together. And I think that's where Clark and Kara come to that by the end of the movie.
I think also we're clocking Clark a little bit, coming to a little bit of a conclusion about the change when we're watching him eat the food. We see something
Mhm.
along those lines of seeing something. I also think it's of the that line, "Do your homework." No, you do your homework, is the coldest line. I think one of the best
Yeah,
lines ever in between
100%.
Clark and Kara in like any version of them. But I think something else that's so different is the talk to Einstein. Who is Einstein? Just the fact that like their cultural references and like
Mhm.
are different. So, like the way that they speak and view the world is so like they speak the same language and they are of the same community, but they aren't at the same time. And
Mhm.
the fact that they cannot even Kara is like searching for that connection because Clark is the only thing that she has in that, and he can't give that to her because he comes from a different part of the diaspora, as you were talking about. There is
Mhm.
that disconnect at one point. Um, it's a really that scene in and of itself is just so charged and so powerful. Um, and uh the way that they go about, again, like how Kara, like Sai, you were talking about how Kara goes about being a superhero, saving people, fighting bullies versus how Clark does, um is very different and is very emotionally charged. And also Kara has been doing this for 7 months, I think she says in the movie, 7 months.
Hmm.
Mhm.
And Clark has been living with this his entire time, so he had like their thought processes are different, but also like Clark has a different set of priorities, which we see at one
Right.
point in the movie. He hears Lois and he stops
Yeah.
going to Brainiac to go save specifically Lois, and it's like that is not something that Kara is. That's not on her priority list.
Right.
They have different sets of thinking, and this movie really shows that how they went through their world catastrophe event very much changed the way that they think, um,
Mhm.
in different ways, and how they have gone through life. Like,
Especially the line
yeah,
she had about when Clark just leaves Brainiac hanging out in his ship, and she has the line about like you like just abandoned all those worlds because he like just takes the city um
Hmm.
back with him, and she's like what about the rest of the planets he destroyed? Like, what are we gonna do for them? And just this more, I think what it boils down to is Clark is thinking of his people, of Earth, of Lois, of Monpaw, of Metropolis, like, and Kara is thinking, I lost my entire planet. How do I help those so they don't experience the same thing I did?
Yeah, no, it was very charged, like you said, JJ. It's like a very emotionally charged scene, and it's really quick. They don't
and
really
right
hang
at the
on it too
beginning,
much.
and right at the just like quick at the beginning, quick right at the beginning, really setting them off, um,
Hmm.
but not spending too much time on it, like you said. Um, and I think it really sets us into the ultimate dilemma, or a lot of the internal challenges of the movie right at the get go. Like it doesn't waste this movie doesn't waste any time.
No,
I think, and that's like an
which is nice.
overall thing. It's not a long movie. It's an hour 15,
Yeah,
and it does
a
not
tight
waste
75.
a tight
That's
75.
how we like it.
height 75. For an animated movie, that's all you need, and it really doesn't
Right.
waste a single moment for it, and we all appreciate that.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Before moving on, I wanted to, there's a couple things I wanted to touch upon. So we all came to the agreement that where we're all frustrated about the secret relationship aspect between Clark and Lois.
Uh-huh.
I did not like it. I didn't like it at all. It was weird.
I understood that it was this device to provide some tension
Mm,
between them, which people seem to think that you need like tension and drama to tell compelling storylines, and that's true, but that does not have to be like emotional conflict every single time. You can have happy couples. You
yeah.
can just let your couples be happy. JJ knows exactly where I'm coming from
Oh yeah,
with
I know
our
exactly.
discussions on a certain gay wee woo show. But one of the things that was a theme throughout this episode was Lois wanting to be public about her dating Clark and like having this relationship be something that like she could tell her coworkers and her friends and family about. And it's this moment of tension throughout the whole film, like they're arguing about it literally as Cal's fucking like, gotta go away. I'm gonna fuck off to space for a hot minute. We'll discuss this when I come back. Bye.
I love Lois's line too. I was like, God damn, like I'm angry because that's what men do, but at the same time, you
Yeah.
actually are like you're not lying. Like, you
You
motherfucker.
have an actual legitimate excuse, and that frustrates me even more. That's the
Yeah.
worst part
Right.
about it.
Like the universe could be at
Exactly.
stake, motherfucker. I hate
Yeah.
this. God damn. I'm still angry with you.
I also think it's really interesting because, like, the best part about Lois and Clark's dynamic in all of the versions of Lois and Clark, which we've had so many of, is that even when they are together, they still have incredible tension because they have different worldviews, they have different approaches, they
Mhm.
have different experiences. So, like, the banter and the two of them figuring it out together, the two of them throwing ideas at each other, is the tension that makes the two of them really really sparkle. Um, I'm really thinking about Lois and Clark from the 90s.
Hmm.
Terry Pratchett throwing when they get together, and Terry Pratchett just continues throwing lines at him and throwing barbs at him, even when they're together, because it kept the series going for two more seasons after they got together. It's Erica Durant's like knowing that Clark is Superman for like a whole season, just being like, I know that we're flirting and we're doing all this, and I know you're Superman, but you won't tell me, but that's
Hmm.
okay. Um, but like it's the two of them really knowing each other and knowing what's gonna stick, but not being like the secret relationship thing is just like this isn't necessary for Lois and Clark. Like
I
they
will
can
say
be bantery without that, without an extra layer.
Yeah.
there was one layer of the secret relationship that I absolutely adored, and it's when they are being secretive about their relationship, his tie and her coat match, and then she changes into a like less purpley, a more reddish coat, and then she matches like the red of like Kara when they're bonding, and then she's still in that red coat when he kisses her, and he's in the purple tie still. So like when they're like apart, like in secret or whatever, they match, and then when they're in public together, they're like mismatched, and I thought that was really brilliant.
That's a good choice. That is a good choice. But it's funny because like you're right, JJ. Like Superman and Lois don't need this, right? Like if
Mhm.
it was like, oh my God, Superman and Lois seem like they have a relationship. That's a tension thing you can do
Yeah,
because there's Clark, right? You know.
right.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
second I think Clark opens up to Lois, it's like, yo, I'm Superman. That immediately should be like, all right, so we're dating, we're good,
Yeah.
but now
But there's
you're in this
the
world
Superman
because I'm like,
available.
I'm Superman. Like, how do we deal
Yeah.
with this? How do we rectify this? You know, like I need your help here. That's where the tension should be. I didn't appreciate it. I know as a Superman fan, like I didn't appreciate seeing that. Like it's also you guys talked about like seeing characters happy. Like, it's okay to
Mhm.
see them happy. And I'd be remiss not to mention this. I know it's a DC podcast, but fucking Peter Parker cannot fucking be happy in Marvel Comics and main
Never.
universe. Thank God you had the
Ugh.
Ultimate Universe now, or the Renew Your Vows universe. Like, if this comes out, and I swear to God they kill Mary Jane in the Ultimate Universe, I'm gonna fucking freak.
We're gonna riot. Yeah,
I'm
it's
gonna
It's gonna be
fine.
a problem.
But
It's gonna be problems.
that's a thing that happens in that universe, right? Like, oh, this dude, no, he's got to be a bachelor. Like, fucking does he? No. Like,
Wow.
I related him to the most when he was married. He had Zenko, he had MJ. You know, it's okay to have like. I love watching Superman or reading Superman comics, right? And with Superman Lois about to end as of recording, right? Like, we're literally a couple days away from the
Oh,
series finale.
so many, just a couple like down by the hours. We're counting
Exactly.
now.
Yeah. Right. And that's about to end. And that's a whole show built on Superman having 2 kids and a wife and trying to deal with that. I am a 37-year-old man with a wife and 2 kids who love Superman. So we're eye to eye. Like, me and Clark are like, oh shit. Like, our lives are like very similar, even though he's Superman. I'm just some dude. But that's what I had with Smallville too. Clark starts high school, trying to figure it out. The day he starts high school, the day I start high school, we're trying to figure this out together, man. And we're like,
Mhm.
Superman's always been there for like important moments, right? And to see him
Mhm.
grow up, to see him have kids and a family, and like this life he's always wanted, and then to get that as an adult, it's like, oh wow, I could really relate to Superman. So what makes it unrelatable that someone's happy in a relationship?
Mhm.
Why can't Selena and Bruce be together? Why can't they just have a comic all the time and be like, hey, my wife's over here. She's gonna go to Paris and like do her thing. I'm gonna do my thing in Gotham, but we are married.
Right.
One day we'll have a kid. Like, why can't we have happiness? It's okay. It's okay for Bruce to smile. It's okay for Clark to smile. You know?
I mean, okay. Grimdark irrevocably destroyed storytelling. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
say it. Grimdark
Yeah.
Agreed.
irrevocably destroyed it. And also, I'm just gonna. I don't have another platform to say this. Of just like half the men who write comics should not be writing comics, and more women should be writing male characters in comics. Those are my 3 things that I'm gonna state because the happy to
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
idea, the fundamental idea that men can't be happy is a part of the patriarchy, and men are just supporting that. And
Yeah.
really, really bring it down. Short sentences right there, but it is so frustrating about watching these characters. Like Superman is about hope. Like
Yeah.
Batman at the end of the day is trying to solve an unsolvable problem. Gotham is in itself an unsolvable problem. So as dark as Batman is and Gotham is, he is at the end of the day continuing a fight that he knows and everyone knows he can never win, but he fights it anyway because it's an important fight to fight. Like that is the definition of hope, of justice, of all of these great ideals. And the fact that all of them have to be sad while doing it is contradictory to their overall mission. And the fact that no one is allowing we can't have them be happy doesn't make any goddamn sense. You have to be happy to be able to have hope. Like those 2
That's
things have
Exactly.
to be able to
correct.
coexist. And if Superman is the embodiment of living hope, why is this man not allowed to be happy at the same time? Sorry.
The
If
patriarchy.
Yeah.
the patriarchy, truly, truly the patriarchy. Grimdark, I want to kill you. If Grimdark never existed, we'd be in a better place of storytelling, and I 100% believe that.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I'm interested to see where we get live action wise in the James Gunn universe with Superman. The colors already are brighter. Hopefully, I'm hoping that we get some happiness in it. You know?
I am so torn about the James Gunn universe, but that might be a topic for another day.
We're here to talk about animated shit.
Not live
Quick
action shit.
connection.
Yeah.
Lois
Because then,
Lane in the James Gunn universe, purple, continued in this show, purple. I would just like to mention purple eyes, Lois Lane, and purple eyeshadow lid, Lois Lane. Very 2013 hot topic, Lois Lane.
yeah.
And I was kind of here for it.
Yep.
Oh
And
yeah.
I
She
showed a
looks
level
great.
of feminine rage that was kind of beautiful, an undercurrent of feminine rage.
Yeah, it was there. Yeah, it was like very subtle, but it was there. Yeah, everyone had, and it it was very valid. Everyone had valid reasons to be angry at Clark. He was
Mhm.
being an asshole.
Absolutely.
He's being stupid.
And the black bob, like the black sharp pointed bob, the character design of Lois Lane, kind of hot, kind of really hot in this movie.
Oh yeah,
I have
very
a line
hot.
here when Brainiac bottles Metropolis, and I think it's where is it right here? I want to get it right. What exactly did I write? Hold on. I was like, not
Oh,
Lois serving
serving.
cunt while flipping off Brainiac. She truly doesn't give a fuck.
Hell yeah.
Nor should she. If your bob is that sharp, you don't have to give a fuck.
Yeah, at this point, she's like, okay, I'm about to be like 32 for the rest of my existence.
Mhm.
I'm miniaturized. Alien just took away me from like all my family and friends.
Mhm.
Fuck you.
Just
Still defiant. I love her.
iconic.
I love
That
her
was
so
a great
goddamn much.
shot. Yeah.
Never been played like a bad way. Every actor that's touched Lois has done great.
Yeah.
That's my
And
controversial
that
pick.
just
Even if it's like the
continues
30s, it's like, hey,
to be true. Yeah.
yeah, this is what we have. This is the material we have. This is
Wh-
George Reeves Superman. I'm sorry, that's what she is right now, but don't worry.
Every actress who has ever every actress has done the best possible with the material that they've been
Mhm.
given for Lois Lane.
Right.
That bar
Absolutely.
none. That is absolutely true.
All right.
Correct.
Now, before we, give our final thoughts on the movie and like little notes that we have, I'll bring a little Thirsty Thursday into this episode. JJ, you got definitive Bat fan casting.
Yeah, I remembered as we were talking that I promised that we would discuss this on this episode.
Let's do it.
One time, JJ and I sat down and casted the entire Bat family and created what we called the definitive casting. Do you still have those notes, or do you want me to pop it in the doc so we can all see them?
Oh, 100% please pop it in the doc because I was about to go through my Twitter post where I posted it, and I was about to be I was about to be vamping for a good 45 seconds as I found it. So if you have it, please post
Yes,
it. I am not
I
that good at vamping.
do.
Ooh. Okay.
I remember
So,
some of them. I remember a good
yeah.
portion of them. Uh, but yes, we figured out the definitive Bat Fam live action casting. Um, starting
I think
out,
we're playing a little bit fast and loose with some of these ages, but that's fine. Go with us. It's a thought
yes,
experiment.
but also I think if we casted all of them together, it would all
Mhm.
work together.
It would work. Yeah.
It would all work. Are we still playing with some ages? Yes, but you could make it work.
Oh yeah.
Starting off with the head of the Bat family, Bruce Wayne,
This is a good one.
casting Liev Schreiber.
Yes.
Yeah.
That man is he's Jewish, which
Not
been a
mentioned enough.
missing component from a lot of Bruce castings.
Correct.
Hot as hell, underratedly hot as hell.
Mm-hmm.
And also, like, we all know he can be menacing. We all know he could
Mhm.
be Batman in a cowl. Batman is also, if you listen to him speak on his own, is so charming. He would 100% could play Brucey Wayne. A older, more dignified Bruce Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely
Mhm.
would knock it out of the park. Um, Dick Grayson, we're casting an unknown Romani actor. They exist. They are out there. Cast someone unknown. Cast Dick Grayson that we can all fall in love with and become the reigning heartthrob of all of our hearts.
Right. I think we
Um,
were really going for like how Aleka Cox was. She's not even an actor. And she got cast for Echo because she fit the role so perfectly. And like that was kind of the vibe we were going with that
You just
casting.
got to
It's
have
like,
a fat ass.
right,
yeah,
exactly. That's the only requirement.
Like, can you act and you have a fat ass?
badass.
That's it.
Uh-huh.
That again, a poor man whoever does get cast as Dick Grayson next, because Titans actor, I don't forget his name. He has a great ass. He doesn't have a fat ass, and it was still very controversial because that man did not have a fat ass.
No.
Great ass.
Muscular. There's a difference.
Muscular. He had muscular. It was nicely and shapely. It was not as round and voluptuous. I can stop talking about this man's ass. Moving on to Jason Todd. This was, I think, our inspired casting, which was Josh Andreas Rivera. Um, he played. He was in West Side Story. He's right now in the FX show of the Hernanda, not Hernanda.
With
The
Aaron
FX.
Hernandez, yeah, right.
Yes, yes. He's playing him. Um, he is absolutely beautiful actor. Can really play both humor, like just comparing those two stories, those two performances, the humor of Jason Todd with also like the devastating anger and that one I'm really really proud of. Tim, we casted from Gotham Knights. We casted an actor who was already familiar with the DC universe. Tyler, do you want to take this one, Sly?
Yeah, I was really proud
The
of
live
this.
action?
Yeah,
Okay. I just
my
I was-
beloved 2024 Gotham Knights.
Okay.
So Tyler DiCaprio is a trans guy and just really has that like effortlessly like um looks like he can play so smart you kind of want to strangle him, but
Yeah,
he
I see it.
also can like get away with it because you're like, "Oh, that's cute."
And so he's Cullen.
Also,
He's Cullen Rowe.
Yeah.
looks like he comes from money too. Like truly looks
Yeah,
like he comes
yeah,
from money.
really
He's
does.
got that snobby look. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Which
Oh,
is
he's a black
really
belt in
interesting.
Taekwondo.
Yeah, our casting was on point. This casting is on
Shit,
point.
guys. Hey,
Um,
if can I interject real quick? Because this is a good moment to mention since you said Tyler's a trans actor. I want to shout out or I want to dismiss any what they call One Piece fans who complained about Kobe being played by a trans actor. Like, oh, how's he gonna get buff? People get buff all the time. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Just go fuck yourself.
amen.
God damn it. Like,
Yeah.
let's wait to see when Netflix is like, hey man, I hired a personal trainer for you so you could gain like 50 pounds of muscle or whatever. Who the fuck cares? God damn it. Sorry, I just had to get that out.
Yeah,
Continue.
appreciate it.
No, as you should.
As you should. Yeah.
Damien, we were also going with, as this is a child, this needs to be an unknown Arab, Chinese, Jewish actor. They exist. Everyone's saying that they don't exist. They do
They
exist.
exist. And again, this will be a child, so we were not like scouring the internet for children.
That's for the FBI to be like, hey, what are y'all doing? I'm like, no, it's for a thing.
It's for a thing.
Don't be weird.
Stephanie Brown, who is my personal
Our
Robin.
beloved. Yeah.
I love her so much. They can only be the one and only McKenna Grace. Truly one of the best young actors of her generation and has been so for the past 15 years. She's 18 and is like, I think she's 18 now, and has been one of the leading actors of her generation for a solid decade.
Yeah, 100%.
There really isn't any other choice.
Amazing in Ghostbusters.
A horrible movie, but I will watch it every time for McKenna Grace because she's so good in that movie. For Cass, we have Anna Cathcart. I would love to see Cass as a redhead. I think that there's something that is interesting about that visually with the bob, and I think it's a. I also think this is a stretch. I don't know, like this is something that she would have to stretch her acting skills for. But I'm willing to I'm willing to do it. I want to see
We'll
her
trust
stretch
the
her.
process.
Yeah, because she's very
She
talented.
can get there.
But I think she can get there. And also I just think it'd be really interesting to see Cass as a redhead. There's something visually that's I think really interesting there.
He has redhead energy.
She does have some redhead energy in there. And then Duke, this is where the true age thing happened, where we're like, this is wrong age-wise, but correct casting. And that's
Correct.
Jeremy Pope as Duke. He would be
Duke
so good. He also looks much younger than he actually is, so we're playing with that.
Helps.
Yeah.
Man is in his like mid-30s and still looks 24. But but that is our definitive Bat fan casting.
Damn good list.
Thank you. We
Damn
were
good.
really proud of it. This has been in like our notes. We did this like last year, and I've kept this note for eternity.
It's funny because
It's
you guys mentioned like earlier in the list, right? Like Leo Schreiber playing Bruce, and then a lot of people don't touch upon the fact that like Bruce is Jewish. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, you guys Jewish descendancy. I don't know if you guys know. Well, I sent it to Sly, but the actor who played him in Gotham, he got one of the Batman masks, and he's been playing like Gen Z Batman. He did a couple skits on TikTok, hilarious.
Yeah.
yeah.
But I remember watching a interview with him 2 years ago, post Gotham, and he almost didn't get cast, and this is as a child, because he looked too Jewy, is what they said. I was like, do y'all know who Bruce is?
Have you read a single comic ever in your life?
Like he's not practicing, but like you can trace the Wayne family history.
And
There's encyclopedias.
it's also clearly in like the history of comics. Like he's not
Right.
practicing because part of it was because it was already there. Like
Yeah.
we didn't need it. And then of course it became like a non-practicing thing because of like the story of Batman and like also other things. No, but like that makes a lot of sense to me. I mean, we just saw in Marvel, we have Joe Locke getting cast as Billy Kaplan, and as a 19-year-old, 20-year-old actor going through a 13-year-old's rite of passage of a bar mitzvah, as a like doing the Jewish ceremony and saying the words and on screen, and it's like why wasn't this like this? There's so many things wrong. Yeah.
If you want to know our thoughts on that episode of Agatha
You
All
can
Along,
see
go check out our episode of Conservative Sundays, where we talk about that for like an hour. But we're here to
It's a big
talk
time.
about Superman.
Exactly.
Speaking of
So
Superman, I
thank you
have a
for
connection. I have a connection.
Okay.
Let me do my segue. Liev Schreiber, Jewish. James Gunn version cast David Cornsweet, who is Jewish, as Superman, and in that Superman, back to this Superman. There's my segue.
Incredible. All right.
There you go.
Do you have any final thoughts from your notes before we jump to our next segment? I do
I
have
do.
one if you want me to start.
Yeah, you go. You go.
This was mostly a question from Carlos, but it did come up in my notes. How far can Superman hear, like outside the atmosphere of the planet? I feel like that's a thing you would know.
So Silver Age Superman probably could hear like the next galaxy over.
Jesus
It doesn't
Christ.
make sense. Post crisis, like DC Rebirth, probably like you could probably hear that missile going off in space.
Okay.
Even though it doesn't make sound, like he would hear
Mhm.
like I guess it's close to the sun, right? There's a
Mhm.
somewhat
Yeah,
of
there's some
sort of sound.
displacement.
Yeah,
It'll make
yeah.
sense.
He could probably
Yeah.
hear that missile going off. But yeah,
Mhm.
he can hear everything at once if he wanted to. He just has to. Martha teaches him to. You see it in Man of Steel, but like he teaches him to
Yeah.
focus on like the little things, so he could turn it off. But if he wanted to, I think also another movie a reference for it, Superman Returns, when he goes up into space. This
Mhm.
beautiful moment, closes his eyes, and opens his ears basically, and hears what if there's a problem, and then Brendan Routh just just goes around the planet fixing the little problems. That's basically the extent. Like he can hear the planet, but like pre-crisis, like
Mhm.
probably hear
Everywhere.
it back in time. Like he's like I
Jesus
heard
Christ.
the
If he
birth
can hear
of
back
Christ.
time, he can hear back in time.
Yeah. My last couple things were this was pretty bloody and gruesome, and I was shocked. So that was fun.
Yeah, I watched it with my kids this morning. I did not
Oh,
expect that. I was like Superman, no problem.
Superman.
Hey, it
Nope.
does have that PG-13 rating. It's there.
It
Yeah.
did.
That's on me. I should have
Usually,
looked better.
yeah. It happens. I do once again. I'm asking why are all of the aliens humanoid? All of
Very
them,
humanoid.
every single one in this movie. I was like, what? We're not getting a single interesting shape in there. All right, that's fine.
I can tell you the evolutionary biology reasoning, but that would put me on a rant for like the next 2 hours. For those who are
And I think,
wondering, I studied that for a while. This is just that didn't come out of nowhere.
yeah. I think you also had a note about this, but when they put Metropolis back in its
Oh,
place, I
I
was
did.
like, how did you know it was facing the right direction? And I personally I thought it would be so funny if all of the roads were like slightly like
Just like
mismatched, just like slightly
ever
out
so
of place.
slightly, like just like
Oh yeah,
Like
that
a
bridge
little bit
should
over.
not have reconnected. What are
Right.
we doing here?
yeah. There's no way. There's no way.
No way.
Yeah, I put it as my thing was like, can you imagine if Clark accidentally put the city the wrong way and now east is west and west is east?
Yeah, that would have been
All the
so
street
funny.
numbers
The
have to
guys change all the
change.
signs. I'm like, fuck.
Oh my god.
Now the right lane is the left lane is the right lane. God damn it.
Mhm.
But no, I
Mhm.
knowing Clark, because this is how crazy Superman is. He probably memorized every little inch of Metropolis because he's a
Oh yeah.
fucking weirdo. That's what he does on his off time. He's like, should I write a report? It's like, I'll just memorize like where this is all. Just in case I'm like
I'm
blinded in
not
a
gonna
fight.
do my day job. I'm just gonna memorize the city.
Do any of us do our day job when we're supposed to? Come on.
Amen.
How many of these movies do I watch during my day job? My bosses isn't listening. They
All of
don't
them.
care. Come on. Give
Um,
me a Steam Deck. I'll be playing fucking games for reviews. Are you kidding me? Come on. I'm not. I'm at my desk.
I do have two thoughts
Mm.
Mhm.
before we wrap it up. One of them is I'm choosing to read a lot of the things in here as gay positive
Oh yeah.
because I want to and I don't want to think about 2013.
Mhm.
But Lois's line, I can't believe you didn't think of it before when
Right.
Steve thinks that he's gay. I'm going to say that that's
Yeah.
Lois saying, Clark, you know it's okay to be bisexual, right? Like,
Yes.
I know you're 35, but like, you're not too old to be bisexual. Um,
It's
I
okay.
also had a note on that it would have been really funny if a la Batman, Clark starts a rumor that he's dating Superman.
I can't imagine.
I think that'd be perfect. I think pulling
Exactly.
a play out of Batman's book is right up Superman's alley.
Uh-huh.
Um,
And
but
then
no,
it'd be this fun, like, social, like, parasocial relationship narrative of, is Lois dating Superman? Is Clark dating Superman? Are they all together? Like, what's going on? Like, Clark and Lois are pretending to date, but they're actually dating Superman. It'd be real fun, media drama. I think they'd
Mm-hmm.
have fun with that.
Pat Grant would have a great time writing that
Oh,
song.
yeah.
Um, yeah, and also with that, I do love Alora going and saying you have someone special. Not saying some
Yeah.
a girl that's a special girl. She literally clocked by rights by knowing him for like 30 seconds.
Immediately.
Um,
As she should.
so it's like everyone in Clark's life is just going, hey, I get that you're with Lois. That's all well and good.
But
That
you checked
doesn't
out Bruce Wayne.
change the other thing. Yes,
Yeah,
well,
you're
Bruce Wayne,
also in love with
absolutely.
Bruce.
You're also in love with Bruce Wayne. Of course. I mean, who isn't in love with Bruce Wayne? Which is
What was the thing I learned
honestly
last
the
week,
plot
Sly?
of most of them.
Batman slash Superman or Superman slash Batman
Oh,
in
yeah.
AO3 means like one's on top of the other.
Mhm.
Super bad.
Literally.
Yeah,
Good looking.
Superbat as a ship name indicates who is the top and who is the bottom inherently in the name, which is pretty iconic of them.
Batman likes a challenge.
Right.
I can see him backing it up.
You know, being a brat doesn't mean being a top.
All right, moving on.
To the second thing I wanted to talk about, which is Brainiac, the fact that the thing that undoes Brainiac, his ultimate downfall, being the fact that he got overstimulated, is 100% the most relatable thing a villain has
So
ever done
relatable.
in a Superman movie. The
Yeah.
fact that he is brought down by overstimulation. I went there, Brainiac for the whole movie. I was just like, oh, this is just a villain. Yeah, your
Mhm.
worldview, whatever, blah, 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 blah. That happened, and I started to feel empathy for him. We were at the end
Mhm.
of the movie, and I was like, damn, Brainiac, I get you. I too fall apart when I get too much stimulation. This is honestly relatable. I
I would
totally
also have a
understand you.
meltdown if I got covered in mud and had bugs flying at me. Yeah,
Yeah.
that is, uh-huh.
You know,
Autistic
this man,
icon Brainiac, I guess.
icon Brainiac, this man had a routine for hundreds of thousands of years. He had a set routine. He, created his own environment that was safe. This man really was living his best life. He figured out how to deal with his neurodivergency. And
Uh-huh.
then Clark said something that I was like, this got really bigoted to neurodivergence real quickly
Yeah.
about it. I was like, damn, hold up now. I was like,
Yeah,
I
I
started
think
like,
they were really trying to play the, like, incel, like, never leaving your, like, basement version of this Brainiac, but they accidentally made a neurodivergent icon,
Yeah.
in the process.
truly, truly.
Yeah.
I
When he was
literally,
covered in mud and the flies were all over him and the sounds were getting too much to him, I was like, I've literally seen my wife go through this. Like,
Yeah.
I've seen her be like, the kids are too loud. I just stepped in like cat throw up. This and that. And I'm just like, oh shit. I have to help somewhere. I don't know where to help. She's gonna freak out. I see it.
I
Mhm.
have to remove myself from the situation.
Yeah.
And
Kids
then,
go upstairs.
this
Everyone run upstairs before she freaks out.
Brainiac removed himself from the situation for literally centuries. He did
Uh-huh.
what he needed to do.
Did he cause mass genocide of, like, hundreds of thousands of planets? Sure. But he did it with a routine. So
Yeah.
He did it with a routine. That man had his routine down packed, and Superman had to just come with no warning and interrupt it purposefully.
Mhm.
Kind of, kind of suspect.
Damn.
Anyway, um, yeah. Overall, those are my last two thoughts. A brat doesn't mean a top, and neurodivergents deserve better. And I
Yeah.
think that really sums up my time here.
Mhm.
My last two things I would have put up, I was like, when Brainiac tied up Superman, it felt sexual. It felt weird.
Mhm. Yeah, I
Uh,
did.
Which time? Because there was one that felt really sexual when he
yeah,
was
When with the
spreading.
beams, when he wrapped the
yeah,
Okay,
beams around, I
yeah.
think.
That's the one. That's the one.
Yeah.
I was like,
okay.
this feels. You're not
I mean,
tied up for
also
fun.
the
Oh, you
slither,
are for
and
tied
then when
up.
it touched the center of the palm, I was like, oh, that's an erogenous zone.
He's like, I don't know how to disrupt you. I don't know. Maybe I'll make it horny. I don't know what
Mhm.
to do. Um,
Mhm.
I like when they were fighting the swamp. Part of me was waiting for like Swamp Thing to come out of nowhere and be like, "Yeah, what the fuck are y'all doing? Why are y'all here?"
As he should.
I
Brainiac's not
lost
the
it at
only
that one.
neurodivergent villain in this universe. Swamp Thing's got his place.
Don't fight here. This
Don't
is my
Mhm.
fight
home.
here. He will bring the swamp to you. That's his entire thing.
Yeah. The fuck are you doing? And then what was the other one I had? I thought it was I felt like it's funny you guys mentioned like him being like disrespectful to like neurodivergent people. On the flip side, I thought Brainiac was like very like Frieza esque from Dragon Ball, being like he saw these Kryptonians dirty. He's like, I hate you motherfuckers. I hate you guys specifically. Fuck you. Fuck your whole race. Fuck everybody in this planet. Like I hope all y'all fucking die. Like, it felt very racist. Like that's why Brainiac and Lex like are
Mhm.
kind of cool with each other.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Like we hate you and you people,
We
and
hate
that's it.
Kryptonians.
Yeah. Hey, there's a black guy over there. No, no, he's fine. I'm not racist. Fuck that guy. Fuck his family. Fuck his people. Fuck his planet. Fuck all these
I like
people.
how none of us have talked about the engagement, but that's the end. We're moving on to drama class.
Yeah, yeah. It did feel
I
like a
will
finally
say,
moment though for the people of the planet. They were like, "Oh,
Yeah.
finally they kissed." Jesus Christ, we don't have to pretend around them.
I liked that he had a ring. I liked the fact that he had
Mhm.
kept this
Yes.
secret. Like, he was so insistent that this was secret, but he had already bought a ring.
Those
Those two,
It was
I'm gonna
cute.
assume he already bought a ring and didn't just go and
Oh
steal
yeah.
one. But I was like, I liked the idea that even though he was
He's
the
been
one
carrying
keeping
that
the
around
secret,
since day one.
yeah, he bought that after the first date. He bought
Yeah,
that before the
100%.
first date. She said yes to the first date, and he took that as a yes to a marriage proposal. He's like, I'm locking this in. Yeah, she
I'm gonna
said
go
yes.
find some coal and just make a diamond out of
Yeah.
it.
Exactly.
Mhm.
All right, now moving on to my favorite section of DC graduate holdover for MC University. We have drama class. We have a
Mhm.
few scenes here. We're gonna
They
let's
all
start at the top.
have 2 people each, so we can just run through, and whoever doesn't do it one time can start the next one.
Yeah, there we go. All right. You guys, do you guys want to do the first one, Terrace Leader and Lois Lane?
Hell yeah. Yeah,
Sure.
I'll be the terrorist. You can be
I
Lois.
love that you knew that I'd be Lois Lane.
I did.
That's that brat energy.
Amen.
Oh my god. Alright. What the
Plus, there's the other one.
other one?
Superman's cousin. Didn't you hear?
No, I didn't hear.
You should really read my column.
True.
Her whole interaction, her whole interaction in the opening sequence of this
Oh,
movie,
so
Lois
good.
Lane,
So
iconic
good.
line after iconic
Oh, yeah.
line.
The seatbelt part
Mhm.
was so funny too.
The
Where she
seatbelt
just holds
part,
on. It's like, eh.
you don't know many teenage girls angry
Right.
at the world,
Yeah.
don't know their own strength. Like, just
Mhm.
truly, just like, it was like, yeah, you don't know many teenage girls. Uh, and then also oh, thanks for the view. Like, thanks, I enjoy a view. Just like, so nonchalant. Been here, done that. I've been kidnapped before.
Yeah,
Right.
come on.
You're not the first or the worst kidnapping I've experienced.
Yeah.
Oh,
You guys
yeah,
dealt
you
with Lex
gave me.
Luthor? He sucks. Okay. All right, moving on. JJ, you want to say as Lois? I'll be Clark.
Sure, I'd love to stay as Lois.
All right. Heartbreak, breathing, skin tip. What? You're mad at me?
You're something else.
I don't care what he thinks about me.
I know that. I'm surprised you didn't think of it yourself. It's the perfect cover.
Then what?
You don't want anyone knowing that we're together, but at the same time, you don't let another guy even talk to me. It's like I'm going out with my own stalker.
Him, Lombard. You want that guy hitting on you.
No, that's not the point. The point is you need to ease up a little.
I thought you like it when I come to your rescue. It sure seems like it, the way you take unnecessary risks.
When I'm falling out of a plane, rescue me. Getting ogled by the office pig, I can handle.
Yes.
Did I pick that specifically because I thought you two would reenact it for me? Yes. And it was great. Thanks.
I'm
So like
glad we
everything
can
according to
fulfill your
plan.
fantasy.
All right. Can I take Car for the next one?
Sure. Uh, yeah. Do you want to take? I mean, I can be Superman for this one, or do you want to continue as Superman?
No, you can be super.
Okay.
Be my Cal, thanks.
Okay. I am going to say Kara instead of Kara because I'm
Yes,
just
as you
refusing to
should.
Please.
acknowledge
As
the
you
Kara.
should. We're ignoring the Kara of it all.
Kara, what the hell were you trying to prove out there?
I was stopping bad guys. That's what we do, right?
Stop them, not scramble them.
Don't lecture me, Cal. I'm still older than you.
No. You may have left Krypton that way, but you're not anymore. The wormhole got me here faster.
That's not fair.
Tell it to Einstein.
Who?
Smart guy, lived here on Earth. Do your homework.
Why don't you do yours? You tell
The
him,
most
girl.
Great.
charged scene. It's maybe my favorite scene in the whole
Okay.
movie.
It's a good one. It's a good one to start
Mhm.
off with too. All right.
Alright,
Final
Carlos,
scene.
do you want to be Brainiac or Superman?
I'll be Superman.
Okay. Do you want to take Brainiac or do you want me to do it, JJ?
Oh, I don't think I could ever take on Brainiac as well as you.
Okay. All right. Your sentimental attachment is grotesque. Even you must realize how worthless they are. Such a savage world. Its scientific advancements paltry. Its weapons unimpressive. You want to do the lowest? Perfect. Right. To think that two Kryptonians chose to call this planet home sickens me. What could Earth have possibly offered you?
Something you wouldn't know anything about. It's my home, my heart. It gives me strength.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Really hammers home that Clark is all about humanity.
Yeah,
Just
only.
like the essence of humanity.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of stake on us. That's not probably the best idea.
He put all his chips in one basket, quite literally.
Yep. He's like, there's other players. You've been out there, right? Like, there's other ones. No, you don't want
Really,
to.
the best
Okay.
you can do here?
You sure? You sure about that? You sure about that? All right. Next segment is quiz time. I got one question for you guys. Whoever gets it first gets points. Stanocatic or Katic, right? Katic, right? God, it's been a long time since I watched Castle, so I forget how to pronounce her name.
Oh, she plays the daughter in Castle. She plays
No, she's
Castle's...
the other detective. Molly Quinn is the
Oh,
daughter.
Molly Quinn is the other. Yes.
It's Katic, right? It's Katic. Stana
Yeah.
Katic. Also
Yes,
a Bond girl.
I have no idea.
Yeah. But Stana Katic played what other DC femme fatale in the Arkham series of games?
Oh, heck. As
I
we
knew this was a tough
discussed
spot.
when we did the Arkhamverse tie-in, I have played not a single second of the game.
I think
I
you
have
did.
watched No, I watched other people play it. I have not played any of them. Um and
I'm
I'm
guessing
so
Catwoman.
horrible at linking people. You're guessing Catwoman? Uh that's a good guess. But I don't want to copy you. What other femme fatale is there?
In Bruce's life?
Oh, is it
Oh, it's Talia?
fucking Talia al Ghul?
It
Damn
is
it.
Talia al Ghul. Stana Katic plays
Hell
Talia
yeah.
al Ghul in Arkham City.
As she should. Good for her.
Yeah, right? When you see her too, like in real life, like you watch Castle and I'm like, yeah, actually you should probably play Talia in real life. Live action Talia, please.
Hey, DC is just full of great people. Needs to be full of great people with great jaws. That is
Mhm.
the DC universe.
Everyone's so goddamn fine too. It doesn't help.
Mhm.
Oof.
All right. So next we have Homeroom, our final thoughts on the movie. We'll start with our
Was
guest
that the
JJ.
only quiz?
That's it. Yeah, that's all I got.
Oh, that's fine. All right, cool.
It was that, or the other question would have been like that I thought about. I was like, that was way too easy. I was like, Sonic Haddock and Molly Quinn starred in what ABC series?
Oh,
Castle.
I would have had no
Castle.
clue. I've read a lot of Castle AU fanfics, but I've never seen the show itself.
It's fucking fantastic.
It's a great
Yeah,
show.
it's really good. Wait, don't you guys watch a Ricky?
No, I don't.
Oh, and my dog is barking.
Oh, there was a big crash earlier during one of the drama scenes. That was my dog, so I 100% got you on that.
I didn't hear it. So that's fine.
Why don't you guys vamp on your final
All right.
thoughts while I
Yeah.
check who the fuck is knocking on my door? It's probably
We'll
some little
take care
kid
of
looking
it.
for my kids. Hold on.
All right. So yeah, JJ, final thoughts on this movie as a whole.
Final thoughts. I love the relationship. I love watching the dynamic between Kara and Clark. I think it is
Yeah.
one of the most fascinating and underutilized dynamics in the DC universe.
Mhm.
I love that it also showed, just like in their fighting, that Kara is ruthless. Like she is,
Yeah.
and Clark is so more restrained. And like even in those I think this movie was actually does a really good job of visually telling differences between and points of view of characters. Um, so like, do I think this is my favorite movie of all time? No, but I do think that this movie is really effective in a lot of its storytelling uses.
Yeah.
Um, and uh, yeah, I really appreciate that this was a story. I think the best part of this story was the story about the relationship between Kara and Clark, and
Mhm.
I think we need more of that relationship told. in we
Yeah.
get it more later on,
Hmm.
but I'd love to see more of it. As a vapid Supergirl fan and a also Superman fan, I think it's Kara Kara and Clark work as such good mirror points to each other,
Hmm.
and um, I think this movie is really effective about it. And to sum it up, that great line of "Wait, the bad guy's the girl." Um,
Hmm.
I think that like really sums up the two of them in a way that I think is really fun. And while that's like a sexist 2013 line, it comes from a
Yeah.
sexist 2013 villain. So like I don't really care. Like it's like yeah,
Right.
that makes sense.
That's something we talked about a lot last week with like in Apocalypse with the how Kara's stronger than Clark and how she
Yeah.
perceives the world is really different. And I think this episode really built on this movie that we get to see this relationship and she has different priorities. She's there like she finally has power. She's been so powerless for most of her life and now she can stand up for herself and stand up to these bullies and protect the people she cares about. Well, Clark has grown up with these powers. He's used to tampering himself to fit in to humanity and respecting like um just the world and the society, and she's here to be an outside force coming in and saying, I am here, I have this power, I'm going to use it to the extent of my ability to make the world a better place. That's a
Yeah,
really interesting
no, I
dichotomy.
agree. Uh, I wouldn't touch upon because we didn't really talk about it. Like this kind of is still pre, New 52 Supergirl, right?
Mhm,
So we have like that iconic outfit that what's it, Michael Turner and everyone brought back when she came back in the early aughts. And you have a lot of those feelings still, right? That kind of butting heads between her and Clark. They're not equals. They're like very much,
mhm,
Clark is older. He's like, I gotta watch out for you. And Clark's like, you really don't. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm okay. uh,
mhm,
and then, you know, post New 52, once we get a reintroduction of her, you do have that kind of balance where it's like, hey, I'm new. I do need to figure out these powers. There's a lot of anger that I have, a lot of resentment I have. I have like my own little story that I have to tell my own story.
mhm,
My agency not tied to Clark, but at the same time tied to him. Like I am. Yeah, we are family, but I need to
mhm,
figure out who the fuck I am before I even figure out who we are as family. And this does a job of kind of bridging that a little bit, because this is 2013, so this is I think this is New 52's already happened at this point, but they are
yeah,
beholden to a certain comic book, graphic novel of this. It's not really one to one. We don't have the whole pocket dying. We don't have that whole thing that happens in the Brainiac series with Jeff Johns and stuff and Gary Frank. But you get a lot of the same similar beats between Brainiac and Superman fighting and like a lot of the art style that we get for both of them. Um, but it is interesting to see where Kara fits into this world, giving her own agency, and it's like it's a slow buildup, right, to what we see in the CW show and what we have now, post Rebirth, post New 52, established Supergirl, where she is her own person. She has her own agency. She has gone through things on her own accord. She is stronger than Clark. you know, she is wiser in so many ways than Clark. But he gets a lot of the limelight, so she deals with that like struggle. She has her own issues. She has her own story. She has her own agency. I do love that about Kara. We need more Kara stories. I'm
mhm.
really, of course, we're an animated podcast, but I am really excited to see where we get with Millie Alcox in that live action universe with Supergirl.
Mm.
I That's the thing that worries me the most is that this is one movie and we're covering Superman, Lois, Brainy. Everyone has been cast for this movie. That's the thing that worries me the most is that Supergirl's going to get the short end of the stick in some way.
I worry.
Uh,
Yeah.
but I am very excited for it. I was actually It's kind of funny. Every single James Gunn casting has been, I wanted the opposite one that actually got cast, which makes me think that this might be like James Gunn's just seeing something that I'm not, which actually kind of makes me excited. I was rooting for Meg Donnelly as Supergirl, but
Yes. Yes.
and I was also rooting for, oh, who was the other Lois Lane? Uh, she was in Sex Education.
Oh God, you're right.
Oh my gosh. The only name that's coming to my mind is McKenna Grace, but that's not her. It's hold up. This was also a weird part of the James Gunn casting, which is that we have gotten the final two before the casting. Like we kept finding out who the final two people were before like the
Consistently.
casting could happen. I was like, why are we so much a part of this process here? But Emma Mackey. I was really rooting for Emma Mackey there.
Oh yes. Yeah. No, she would also have been really good. Yeah, it's interesting to see where we go. I'm very excited to see more Kara, especially post CW, Supergirl's TV series. I think that handled all her origins, all her different iterations very well, and gave her own agency and her own, yes, she's part of the Superman family, the House of L, but she is her own person. She has her own stories, and we talked about this last week. I loved every fucking who they call Superman fans being like, "What, Kara's stronger than Clark?"
Yes.
No,
Yes.
that's bullshit. I'm like, yeah, she is. The fuck
She's
you mean she's not? I can bring
absolutely.
you the issues that show you that she's stronger.
She's always been stronger, which is also part of her flaws. Like that's like it's both her strength and her flaw. That's what makes an interesting character trait is that she is like it is both her flaw and her strength is that she is even stronger than Superman. And like why are you not excited about that as a Superman fan?
Yeah, that's exciting.
And but yeah, no, that CW show really did a beautiful thing with the character of Supergirl in combining everything. The only problem was is that her and Lena didn't kiss at the end.
True.
You, me,
Real.
Sly, we all agree. Just
We
one.
all agree they should have kissed.
Just a fling.
They
They
should
should
have kissed.
kiss. Yeah.
Who
I would
knows?
even taken a platonic kiss. Like, no, just
Yeah,
a little, but they should have kissed. Should have kissed.
just once. Come on,
Yeah.
come on. They're right there.
Right there.
Play-
It's Katie McGraw. Every straight woman on this planet would kiss Katie McGraw, and I stand by that.
That is, no, it was egregious that it did happen. Come on, and you got so many other, very LGBTQIA, open things in Supergirl. Just let them, just one spooch, maybe by accident. Like, oh, I slipped.
Hey, that'd be my excuse. Yeah, I do. Yep.
That would have been Lena's.
That would have been Lena's excuse in a heartbeat.
Yeah, 100%.
Iconic.
A man.
Alrighty,
So that was the thing. You're kissing a man in the final season of the show.
Really? After everything we've seen and did?
Right.
Come on.
After everything we've been through together.
A man? No.
Could it be me?
Mhm.
Katie McGraw's right there. Come on. Not there.
Right.
Nah, could it be me? All right. So that is our episode. So next week we have homework. Before we leave the episode itself, we have. You're so excited, Sly.
I'm
so
excited for this movie.
This is gonna be such a controversial movie.
We're
God damn.
finally getting to cover Batman: The Killing Joke. I'm so thrilled.
I'm
I
so
did
thrilled
read
because
this,
one of our topics again are going to be Barbara Gordon and Batman having sex. We're gonna
we
talk
don't
about
talk
that.
about that. We ignore that.
Nah, we gotta touch it. This is the one where they show it.
I know.
It's not implied. They show it.
Here's
I
my thing.
know. It's weird.
Do I think Barbara
but
Gordon and Bruce should have ever had sex? No. Do I understand Barbara Gordon of what, like, at what point? Like, that.
Yeah. Mhm.
I
Who's
get
turning down Bruce Wayne?
I get it.
I can't.
The
Who's turning
problem
down
is
Barbara
with
Gordon?
Bruce Wayne.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
It's just they shouldn't. They are the one people that should turn each other down because of their relationship and their dynamic.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
it's Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
It's Barbara Gordon.
Yeah. He's a very
Bisexual nightmare.
for someone who's like, oh, I'm all about the mission. Has a lot of sex.
He fucks around a lot.
with people he shouldn't. Talia, Barbara in this universe, like Barbara in the animated series. Andrea Boma, yeah, geez, come on, man. Like it's like, oh, you're a bad guy. Hey, what's up?
Even Selena.
Yeah, Selena. Selena's like a good person he should be with. It's somewhat Sable.
The fact that Selena is the stable one of his relationships shows you.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
But yeah, she is the
This is
most
why he should
stable
just kiss
relationship.
Clark. That's why he's supposed to be kissing Clark.
Exactly.
And
Because he needs
Lois.
someone with roots, like someone who will actually hold him down. Maybe
I
physically.
like all three of them together.
I like all four of them together. Because Selena and Lois,
Okay.
power couple right there.
Oh, 100%.
Selena,
100%.
Lois, Clark,
Okay.
Bruce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's two Doms leading their two superhero subs around, if I've ever seen it.
All
JJ,
right.
it's funny
On
you bring
that
this up.
note,
No. I gotta bring this up again from last week. We talked about this. No. This is funny because last week I brought this up in a John Kent Superman issue. Sorry. He opened up Lois's closet. He was looking for something. You know what I'm talking about? His
I know
war
exactly
suit
what
was
you're talking
there.
about.
The chains, the S, the loincloth. And Lois quickly, it's almost like she had super speed. She had super speed. Came out of nowhere and closed that as quickly as she could so John didn't see that. Listen, whatever happens to mom and dad when the son's away, is whatever happened. There's a reason they had a kid. You know what I mean?
There's a reason why John Kent doesn't have as good a super hearing as Clark Kent, and that is because he
The
doesn't
blessing
need
in
to.
disguise for them.
The blessing in disguise.
Hey, John, what can you hear right now? I can hear my parents having sex. That's what I can hear. And there's a robbery in Gotham. We should go over there right now. Come on, Damien.
He's got to visit Damien. Yeah, he's got to go.
Yo, Damien he needs homework help. I don't know, man. I gotta go over there. It's gonna go hang out over there. Sorry, guys. But yeah, anyway, next week's episode is Batman: The Killing Joke. It's a streaming anywhere.
who knows? I think I have the DVD from that DVD collection you made me buy for.
Oh, that's right. I did not make you buy it. You made me buy a DVD. I didn't make you buy shit. You're like, if we should really do it for the show, you should buy the Death in the Family. I'm like, all right, fine, I'll do it.
Yeah, you should buy Death of the Family because you can't experience it any other way.
That's fair. I'm pretty sure I own Killing Joke. Do I? No, I don't. Oh, fuck it. Anyway, I'll figure it out. It doesn't matter.
All right, we'll figure it out. Yeah. And speaking of Death in the Family, that may or may not be coming in a couple episodes. Spoiler alert.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows? All right, so we'll go around the horn because I haven't done this in a couple episodes. I forget because me and Sly are just part of Point of Progress, so it's easy for us to be like, "Where did you find us?" Here, you're right here.
Here, yeah,
be here.
You've arrived.
JJ, where can people find you?
You can find me all over the internet at JJBWayWatch. And you can find me on on Sundays live on YouTube.
You know our show name?
Our show is called Served Up Sundays. We've had 4 show names. You can't break anything. Our show is called Served Up Sundays, and it is at After Party Show on YouTube, at the After Party Show. So that's where you'll find us. You can also, Carlos, I've heard that you're a Supernatural fan.
Just a little bit.
Yep. You can find me also a couple of times on a podcast called Carrying Wayward, which goes through episode by episode of Supernatural.
Send me that.
Yeah. You'll see me. You'll hear me there a couple of times.
Yes, I need it.
So I highly recommend that. I'm just gonna plug another person's show that I've guested on this show that I'm guesting on.
Make JJ a professional podcast guest 2025. That's my campaign. We'll see.
That's our goal.
That's our goal. Yeah, and you can also find me here on this episode. Congratulations.
This specific episode.
You can also find JJ on the hit episode of MC University discussing the 2005 hit Elektra.
It really is still one of our highest rated things.
Now the expectation for this episode is now way too high.
It's the second highest rated thing we have.
It is, yeah. Thank you.
12,883 views as of recording.
Thank you so
Nothing
much
to
for
match that.
joining us
Fuck.
today, JJ. It was such a delight to have you on
Yes.
talking all things Superman, all things Bat Family, as we are want to do. And it's been a blast. You can find me also on Conservative Sundays at After Party SHO on YouTube. You can find me here on Point in Progress, doing Point in Progress things. By the time this comes out, we will be just wrapped up our live coverage for the award show season. So make sure to check those out. And in a couple weeks, we will have our gaudy videos, our game of the year videos from Point in Progress. So keep an eye out on those. They should be very fun.
Yeah,
Carlos?
not the impending like editing job that I have to do now. It just slowly creeping up. If you said that, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot I had to do that. Oh shit, this is gonna suck. Well, you can find me here at Point in Progress. DC Graduates. We also have It's Not a Loop, It's a Spiral, my Alan Wake playthrough series, or I should say Remedy playthrough series
Remedy
as we go through the
yeah.
Remedy games. Shout out to 61 Indie, MC Wright there, because now he added a game to the list that I didn't know I had to play, but now I have to play for this goddamn show. So there's more I have to play. I mean, hey, listen, I'm
Love that for
enjoying what
you.
I played. I can tell you I beat the main campaign. It should be out by the time, at least the edited video should be out by the time this post. So check them out. Bonus episodes may be up as the time. I'm trying to think of like when everything posts. But yeah, as I mentioned, our live reactions to the Game Awards will be on here. So check them out. And the Indie Game Awards, which we are very lucky to be judges of. So you can see that over there on youtube.com/point of progress. Podcast services for the specific podcast, like DC Graduates and things like that. And then for me, you can find me over at youtube.com/nerderday. You see Chaos Bringers, which who knows? Maybe that'll start migrating over to Point of Progress little by little. But it's our Final Fantasy retrospective podcast series with Harv and Frank as we go through the numbered Final Fantasy little by little. I think we got episode 5, Final Fantasy 5 and Final Fantasy 6 to go through, and then finally through Harv's favorite game, Final Fantasy 8, which we'll get there soon. But yep, till next time, class is dismissed.